Get ready with me when I tell you about the time my bride hated her makeup. So this is when I pretty much was a baby makeup artist and I wanted to get into bridal. So I posted on a bunch of wedding Facebook pages offering free bridal trials. When she first reached out to me, I should have saw the red flags. She asked me a million questions about what products I carried in my kit, if they were high-end, drugstore, etc. Which I have no problem with, to be completely honest. I was carrying a lot of high-end brands for being a baby makeup artist. She then asked me if I would do her wedding for free. Her wedding was 3 hours away one way, 3 hours back from me, 7 girls, and it was pretty far out. I want to say like 1.5 to 2 years out, so I would have had a lot of weddings under my belt by that time. Side note, I still don't think I like this. I told her I wasn't really sure about my wedding prices just yet, but that I definitely could not do it for free. She kind of gave me a lot of attitude about this, but she ultimately scheduled a free bridal trial with me. Fast forward to her free bridal trial. So I asked her for reference pictures, and she showed me a lot of photos from Pinterest that are heavily edited, full glam, and said she wanted something like that natural. Which I understand. A lot of clients don't know that a lot of photos that you see, people are wearing a lot of makeup to show up on camera. So I explained that to her. So then we started going through my client photos. She then basically shitted on all of my work and everything like that. And I get it. I was very beginner. I was still pretty good for being pretty new. So I was basically like, let's just get started. Everything was going pretty well. We selected a nice eye. We selected, a good lash, a lip, everything. Everything seemed to be going really well until I handed her the mirror. She started to pick through every single thing she didn't like and continued to say that she was way too dark, even though she was extremely dark on her body and very light on her face. And I matched to the body because everything is supposed to be cohesive, and I tried to explain that to her, but she was still not happy. She then started going through my kit, grabbing things, and swatching cream products, which if you know as a makeup artist, that is so unsanitary, and she contaminated a lot of my products. And I'm a people pleaser and a baby makeup artist at that time, so I was very nice to her and was trying to just make her happy, and nothing I was doing was making her happy. So then she had me take off everything and wanted me to restart. But I had clients coming over, so I told her we could just schedule a second trial. But I told her she'd have to pay for this trial. She was not happy. So we ended up scheduling a second trial, and I told her it'd be like $50, something super cheap, and she continued to ask for a discounted price, saying she used to be a model and that she shouldn't have to pay that price, etc. And then my dumb people pleaser self was like, yeah, we could just do $40. Still extremely cheap. She comes over for her second trial and brings 2 people with her. The entire time I'm doing her makeup, her and her 2 friends were basically just like, no, she usually likes it like this, she doesn't like that, she doesn't like this, and we're touching my kit again. I was asking them to stop, and then it just went out of control. Go to part 2.
Going to the movies! So me and my best friend do this thing when we're bored sometimes where we'll post a picture of each other on our Snapchat stories, and we'll put like a poll, like a thumbs up or down thing. And we'll just put the question, like, could she pull you? And it's just kind of fun to see, like, who in our grade or who we know says yes. So we were at the beach last night, and we were bored, so we decided to do that. And we got some very interesting results. So first of all, the guy I like right now voted yes for me, so that was exciting. But also that kid who I had a crush on all throughout middle school, who rejected me at the end of middle school, put yes for me now. But the main interesting thing that happened was the guy who I really liked in the beginning of the year, and we were talking for like 3 months, and I actually thought we were gonna go somewhere, and he ended up playing me. He voted yes. And that doesn't sound that weird, like, okay, he voted yes, so what? The funny thing is, the last time me and my best friend did one of these polls where we asked, like, who could pull us, it was right after me and him had like, our falling out, and he had kind of, like, told me that he was just messing with me the whole time. He had voted no on that one, on the last one that we did, so that means that that was just out of pettiness, which, like, I kind of knew, but it's kind of funny to have, like, actual proof. Anyway, moral of the story, boys are liars, like, but doesn't matter, we're on to better things now. I like a guy in one of my classes, and he's really sweet, so anyway, we'll see what happens with that. I'm off to the movies now, running pretty late, but it's okay. Get ready with me for picture day. Okay, I want to tell you guys about this thing I do with my friends when we're bored on Snapchat. Basically what we'll do is I'll take a picture of my friend, like a good picture, and then I'll post it on my story with a little poll. And for the question on the poll, we'll ask our private stories like, can she pull you? And then obviously she'll do the same thing for me. She'll post a picture of me on her story, and the whole fun is just seeing like who votes yes for you and your friends. And something interesting always happens when me and my friends do it. Like, one of my best friends got her current boyfriend from doing this. And we've also had some of our exes vote yes for us on these polls, which has led to a lot of drama, actually. It's also just like a sneaky little subtle way to see if the kid you like in your class thinks you're cute back. Because if they do think you're cute, there's literally no reason they wouldn't vote yes, because it's like anonymous, but also like it's not like announcing it to everyone. Little warning, don't try this if you have like extremely low self-confidence and if you're gonna let it actually like affect how you feel about yourself, because that just takes away the fun of it. But yeah, that's our fun little way of like stirring up the pot when we're bored or trying to get like conversations going and stuff. I tried to do like the passport makeup that's on TikTok with like all the bronzer and stuff, but like obviously toned down because I'm not getting my freaking passport photo taken. I'm just going to school. I'm also finally gonna get my driver's license in like 2 weeks, so if you guys have any tips for not failing, let me know. Totally forgot to record my lashes. My bad. It's like so dark in my room anywhere but over by my vanity, but I'm gonna use these two thingies together. I really have to leave, but this is the fit. Let me know if you want to see how my pictures turn out, because I'm kind of scared, but that's it.
Let's talk about my experience growing up in the UK as a Filipino. I moved to a small town here in the UK when I was 8 years old, and I was the only Asian in my primary school at the time. And you best believe my dad cooked me up that chicken and rice for the first day of school, and everyone was confused because everyone else had sandwiches and crisps. And of course people were staring. This aura of chicken and rice was just marinating the whole room. This one was actually quite bad. Every time I played out, people would ask me if I lived in the local chippy. Because I was also the only Asian in the whole street. I was so confused because I never knew what a chippy was at the time. Also, no one even knew what Philippines was. And I was constantly, to be honest, even till this day, getting mistaken for Chinese. Like, there's no other types of Asians out there. And it still makes me laugh till this day because we still have the same ignorance. And I was friends with this blonde girl who literally attracted boys like flies, and I was just there. And then was one time she came mine, and then a bunch of lads came knocking on for her. My dad was in pure shock because I wasn't allowed a boyfriend then. If you know Filipino or Asian dads in general, that's bad news. So yeah, my dad just shooed them away and she never came round since. I literally used to think I'd get pregnant from saying hi to boys because of the way my dad reacted before. This girl used to wear thongs to school in year 7. I haven't even grown one pube yet. Anyway, she probably thought there was no benefit in being friends with me, so she completely sacked me off. But it's fine because then I met my besties in high school. So growing up here in high school actually wasn't that bad. I actually had so much fun in high school. And I loved my group of friends in high school because they were literally weird with me, and it just made high school so much more fun. And what I mean by weird is just having a laugh, being goofy, being silly without having to think like, oh my god, like, I can't act this way because that boy's looking, you know, like, I just love them. I miss them, aw. Being the only Asian girl in school back then, thankfully I never really got bullied for my race because I had really good friends who backed me up. I'd get the odd racial slur and actually had a fight with a mosher. I also wasn't afraid to stick up for myself because this mosher literally murmured under her breath saying F word, C word. So obviously I had to... Also, there was no other ethnicity in my school. I was the only one that's Asian. I obviously noticed that I was the odd one out. I actually wanted to be Caucasian at one point. I noticed like my nose wasn't the same, my eyes wasn't the same. Uni really changed me though. I feel like that's when I started to really accept my Asianness. Because I started to hang out with more Asian people and I no longer wanted to be Caucasian. However, I'd still get the street slurs. Has it calmed down now? I guess a little bit. Actually, no, there's another story for that. I'll tell you that in a different video. I've got quite a lot of stories, but I can't really put it all in one video. So if you want more videos like this, let me know. Also, I want to know your experiences. If you're a different ethnicity growing up in a different country, I find it really interesting. So let me know what it was like for you. But yeah, let me know if you want more of these and we'll talk more. Let's talk about things that are normalized in the Philippines. Moving to the house next door to your parents after getting married. My parents, uncles and aunties literally all lived in one compound. It was actually a vibe. My grandma would used to scream from the other side of the house like, "Manganan!" and we'd all just come rushing in because she prepared a big lunch for us. Animals as alarm clocks, you know what I'm on about. The rooster, the calabaw, the chicken. If you grew up in the Philippines, think about it. Have you ever seen your grandma use an alarm clock? No, because they've got roosters for that. I live in the UK, right, and my dad one time brought home a rooster, not a clue where he got it from, and it crowed at 5 a.m. every single morning. Our neighbours complained and we got in trouble with the council. I think my dad just missed the culture, but I don't think he knew that we're not allowed to keep roosters in the back garden. We named him Henry, and my little brother, I think he was like 4 at the time, genuinely thought my dad got it as a pet. After receiving a letter from the council saying we can't keep the chicken, sadly Henry didn't last long and he became tinola. You're a rooster and you live in a Filipino household, you ain't pet babes. If you randomly see a flying slipper, it's totally normal. It's usually a 4'11" Filipino mum that is absolutely angry at you. And they have the best aim, it usually lands on your bum or your back. In the Western world, they call it child abuse. In the Philippines, they call it discipline. You don't mess with a 4'11" Filipino woman. Oh no, they are small but mighty. Having rice for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and merienda, meaning snacks in between. If you think rice is life, go to a Filipino household. Rice is life. Rice with egg, rice with coffee, rice with noodles, rice with chicken nuggets. We love rice. Calling someone auntie and uncle even though you're not related, as a sign of respect them. Oh, and we don't need CCTV in our homes. We've got neighbours for that. Mga marites dyan. Suddenly having a new relative every time you go back to the Philippines, you know what I mean if you're Filipino, it's like, this is Auntie Nila. And I'm like, I swear there wasn't an Auntie Nila 10 years ago. And somehow the whole neighbourhood would have looked after you when you was a baby, because then when you go home it's like, oh, this is Auntie Joy, she used to look after you and change your diaper. Karaoke in every occasion. Birthdays, weddings, new job, new romance, heartbreak, funerals. Throwing a Cinderella-like ball when you turn 18, we call it debut. But it's that day where you feel like an absolute princess. It's basically like having a wedding but without the groom. What other things can you think of? Let me know in the comments.